Have you ever wondered why some women tend to effortlessly attract men, and not just any man, but healthy masculine men who want to protect, provide, and commit to her? And meanwhile, other women, usually high achieving women, although equally as powerful as the first woman, tends to struggle a lot more in relationships by getting ghosted, breadcrumbed, or treated like a backup plan? Well, if you're done chasing emotionally unavailable men and shrinking your light just to get a text back from a guy, then this video is going to be your liberation, because I'm going to be breaking down the 5 divine feminine pillars that makes certain women completely magnetic, and it makes men obsess over you. Hi, my name is Amanda. Welcome to this channel where we talk about how to manifest what you want in life without all the extra stress, chaos, and trauma that most people are accustomed to. Lately, we've been talking a lot about relationship dynamics, divine feminine energy. This is based on my 15 years of experience coaching women in different areas of their lives and spending about 6 years around successful, high-achieving, ambitious men and asking them what it was that they were looking for in partnership and relationship. Once I understood divine feminine energy and combined it with what all these high-achieving men taught me, then I was able to manifest my own husband within 4 months. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. If you're enjoying this video, give it a like, because it helps us get it in front of more women. Ladies, there's so much freaking mess and confusion out here about what makes healthy relationships, divine feminine energy, masculine energy. So one thing you can do to honestly heal the collective consciousness at this point is just give this video a like, so YouTube can put it in front of more people who are trying to heal and have better relationships, because Lord knows we need it with the state of affairs right now. So let's get into it, right? Let's get into what these pillars are. And as always, for those of you who want to go deeper, you can apply to private coaching with me. This is part of what I help you embody as a woman, especially if you've never really been taught this, which most women, especially in the Western world, have definitely not been taught these things. And then we wonder why relationships are a total mess in the West right now. And if I have other trainings and things, I will make sure to mention them for those of you who want to go deeper. So here's the thing, right? When it comes to high achieving and ambitious women, and not even high ambitious and achieving women, just women in general in Western culture, we've been taught to lead in love the same way that we lead in business, right? So it's plan the date, send the first text, split the bill. We think we're being nice when we offer to split the bill, and nice does not get commitment, ladies, not from healthy men. And then we wonder why men pull away. But the women who actually get pursued and chosen, they're not doing more, they're not performing, they're not overgiving, they're doing this whole thing entirely differently. They're playing a whole different game that women, modern women, particularly in Western culture, need to learn about this game, because this game's actually been around for thousands of years. But what happened is, particularly in Western culture, what has happened is over the last 100 years or so, for lots of reasons, a lot of the things that would have created like healthy attached people, meaning we can bond with other humans in a healthy way, a lot of the factors that are involved in that have been literally like pulled apart over the last 100 years or so, particularly in the United States and other Western countries. So for example, one of those things is the family structure being pulled apart, which has been going on for 100 years or so in the United States. We had industrialization, we had 2 world wars, we had the Great Depression, then that led to feminism. Why did it lead to feminism, Amanda? Because most people think feminism just came out of the blue and came out of nowhere. It did not. Imagine 100 years ago, we were living in community with each other. This is actually something that's becoming cool again to do, but we were living in community in the United States. We had much stronger family bonds, and not just family bonds, but also social bonds. I'm living in Mexico right now because my husband and I like the international lifestyle. He actually runs a business where he helps people move to other countries. And I'll say Mexico's got this part right. Okay, Mexico's got other problems, but Mexico's got this part right. And as a Latina, I'm Cuban. This is to me, the way that it should be. And it turns out that this is the healthiest way of doing it, which is we have very strong family bonds. And it's not just families, it's the aunts, it's the uncles, it's the cousins, it's the neighbors, it's the social circles, it's the church. Like, it's very strong community bonds. When we have really strong community bonds, what ends up happening is, and this is stuff that Adam Lane Smith talks about, attachment Adam, which I find really fascinating. But basically what happens is we create environments where the children are more securely attached, because basically if mom and dad are not able to give love for whatever reason, then there's like fail safes, right? There's redundancy, there's grandma, there's grandpa, there's an aunt, there's an uncle, there's cousins, there's neighbors, there's an actual community around. And what's happened in the United States, particularly, and other parts of the West, is that that's been like systematically destroyed over the last 100 years or so, starting with industrialization when the men got taken out of the home, starting with everybody moving into cities and moving into these really tiny places. We had 2 world wars, right? World War I, we were losing men at alarming numbers in World War I, and then the ones that did come back, we just expected them to just like function, even though they just saw all their friends get killed. Of course they couldn't function. So women had to start stepping up because they couldn't necessarily, either the men were not there because they were literally out working, or out of the home, not in the home in some sort of a family or community structure anymore, or they had gotten killed at war, or when they came back from war, they weren't functioning very well. So that's up to World War I. Then we get the Great Depression. Then we get World War II. So by the time we get to the 1960s and 70s, when feminism is really starting to take off, women are already exhausted, right? They're just more exhausted now in this current day and age. But by the time we got to feminism, women were already tired. Is basically what was going on. Because we've had generation after generation after generation of these family and community bonds, which we need in order to raise healthy people and people who can bond in healthy ways, has been destroyed because of survival, because of a lot of things that were going on in the world at the time. And it's alarming to the point where Adam Lane Smith was talking about this. I think this is particularly to the United States. 2/3 of people in the United States right now are considered to have some sort of insecure attachment style. So it's what I've been saying over and over and over again on this channel. The reason dating is such a mess right now in the Western world is because you have a bunch of unhealthy people trying to date each other, causing more chaos, because it's just been generations of trauma that we're dealing with at this point. So women, right, for lots of reasons that I just mentioned, have had to start stepping up for 100 years, basically, at this point in the United States, right? So what happens when women start stepping up? Well, as always, there's pros and cons to everything, right? Nothing's ever all good or all bad, right? So in this case, women started learning how to make money. They knew how to take care of things. They already knew how to do that. They start applying that to their careers and they start making more money. The problem is now they're applying it to their relationships and it literally does not work, right? So I know I went off on a little bit of a tangent, but it's really important to understand like how we got here and why there is so much confusion, right? Because the women who get pursued and chosen, like I said, they're playing on a different game. And it's important to understand, the matrix that people are dealing with when it comes to dating culture right now, and why there's so much confusion, and why it's so important to understand these pillars of divine feminine energy. Because I promise you, ladies, when you understand this, you're going to stand out from all the basic women out here. You are going to stand out, and the healthy men are going to be able to see you. And like I mentioned, part of what's going on right now is that you have unhealthy women and unhealthy men, and they keep dating each other. And then there's those of you in the middle who are just like confused and don't even know which way to go, because you don't know what's healthy and what's not. You don't know what's healthy within you. You haven't seen good examples because of all the stuff that I just mentioned in the United States in particular. You haven't even seen good examples. We haven't seen good examples of healthy relationship dynamics and family dynamics for decades in the United States. And that's part of what's causing all this mess. So as a woman, if you start embodying these pillars, which again, thousands of years this stuff has been around, then you're going to be able to A, become healthier yourself as a woman, but B, now the healthy men are going to start seeing you, and you're going to end up in an entirely different dating pool than what most people are dealing with in this particular mess. So pillar number one is receptivity. What is receptivity? It is your ability to receive without guilt or obligation. I gotta tell you all something. I was just talking to my husband about this the other day. I've seen this with private coaching clients. I've seen it in the YouTube comments. Problem number one that you all have is you feel so guilty when men are giving to you. But here's the thing, right? Healthy men are driven by three things. And I go deeper into those three things in the Feminine Magnetism Mastery Program, which you can get for $27 below. One of those things is their ability to protect and provide. Why? Because that's how they got their status. It's still how they get their status in the world today. And that basically ensured their survival. Otherwise, they'd be like, hey, you're kicked out of the tribe. Okay, like what usefulness do you have? Basically. So a man's survival and also status depended on his ability to provide. Guess what? Men these days, they're still psychologically wired for it, and the healthy men still get their status from being able to provide. They feel good about themselves when they are able to provide. But what does that mean? They're not going to give to a woman who cannot actually receive it. They're going to give to women who know how to receive. And a lot of times I will tell women, hey, you got to start doing this experiment where you have to start receiving from the men all around you. And sometimes they'll be like, but what if I don't like him? And I'm like, it doesn't matter. This doesn't even need to be romantic. Right before I met my husband, I was doing an experiment where I was receiving from the men all around me. It wasn't always romantic. A lot of times it was platonic. A lot of times it was a colleague just trying to solve a problem. Last week we were out to a business meeting for my husband's business. We were checking out some real estate here in Mexico, and we were out with my neighbor and his girlfriend, and my neighbor picked the restaurant. And, you know, I ordered something and he's like, and then he ordered something for me, right? Now, a lot of you would feel guilty. And was that my husband who ordered for me? No, right? It was another man who ordered for me. Was it romantic? No. Nothing romantic about it. He was just like, this is, you ordered this. Hey, this goes really good with that. And then he just ordered it from the waiter, and I received it and I allowed it to happen. Do you know what a lot of the women who end up in my programs would have done? They would have felt bad about it. They would have been like, oh no, you don't have to do that. They would have been like, oh, but I don't know if I want that. Like there would have been so much like weirdness and guilt around it that they wouldn't just have let their neighbor, right, order something for them because the neighbor knew what to order in that particular restaurant. So it doesn't even have to be romantic, right? You just have to start learning how to receive in all the ways that men love to give. I oftentimes tell women, and if you take the Feminine Magnetism Mastery program, which again you can grab below, I go through it really deeply on how you can actually practice a lot of this stuff with your fathers. You can practice it with your brothers, your male neighbors, your cousins, little boys, and just start paying attention to how they react when you receive and receive well from men. Not everything is romantic, ladies. That's number one when you're dealing with men. And number two, if you can't receive from the men all around you, how on earth are you going to pull in a provider, protector, husband, which is what you guys want? Well, you have to learn how to receive from the masculine, period, in order to receive from a masculine provider, protector, husband, in which case, yes, it is romantic in that way, but all men provide. All men have forms of provision and protection. So start learning how to receive it from all men because it's not necessarily romantic. Okay, and then here's how you start embodying that, right? You want to start saying, thank you, I received that, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for putting in that order for me. Thank you so much for opening the door for me. Thank you so much for this gift. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And when you start feeling guilty, because a lot of you do, you start feeling guilty, then this is where we need to start doing exercises on how to expand our capacity to receive, because oftentimes we feel guilty about receiving because we don't feel like we're worthy of receiving. So when I tell women to do that exercise that I've mentioned several times on this YouTube channel, we're building that muscle where a woman can receive more and more and more and more, because that is the literal job of the feminine, right? So that's how you want to embody it, and here's how you want to avoid it. You want to avoid it by over functioning. You want to avoid it by splitting bills to be fair, right? When it comes to romantic relationships, the way it's fair is not how you think it's fair, okay? The way that we talk about fair in terms of division of labor and work is not what works in relationships. We're talking about a different form of equality here. And then also you want to avoid trying to earn his effort. Now, is it a different form of equality, you might be asking? Well, because the masculine and the feminine is a very symbiotic relationship, right? It's a dance, right? It's not like I'm equal and you're equal and we're doing the same dance. It's not that. It's more like this. It's more like a figure eight. It's more like an infinity sign. The better you get at receiving, the more he's going to want to step up for you. The more he steps up for you, the safer you're going to feel. The safer you feel, again, the more he wants to start giving to you, and he starts stepping up as well. But if you're looking at it as like we're equal, or I feel bad, or I'm guilty, or I'm over functioning, it kills polarity. It kills attraction, especially with healthy men. Feminized men might like that. They might be, arguing about splitting the bill. They might be like, what can you do for me? A healthy masculine man is not going to ask you what you can do for him, because he gets his status and he gets his feeling good about himself by providing, which is a sign of a healthy male. Okay, pillar number 2 is radiance. So what is it? It's your inner glow that makes you totally unforgettable. So here's why it works. Men are magnetized by energy that feels good to be around. So have you noticed how there's some women, like my husband is obsessed with me, right? He was saying that the other day. He's like, I'm so obsessed with you. Like, what did you do to me? This is what I did to him. It's these 5 things, right? But another example of a man who's obsessed with his wife, Gomez Addams, right? And Morticia Addams from the Addams family. Gomez is obsessed by Morticia. Morticia's not going around over functioning. Morticia's not going around doing the most. Morticia's not going around trying to be liked, right? Morticia's just Morticia. And Morticia's very magnetic, right? And Morticia does what makes her happy. If it's in her conservatory or the creepy things that she likes to do, or being a mother or being a wife, or we were watching the 60s original one the other day. She's there like knitting, Morticia just does whatever makes her happy. And Gomez is totally obsessed with her because Morticia is magnetic, right? So here's how you embody it. You want to do the stuff that lights you up. You want to prioritize joy for you, not for everybody else, for you. And I've done plenty of other videos on that. And again, I go deeper in feminine magnetism mastery. And the thing is that radiance is not just about looks, right? If you're just focused on looks, you're a level 1 woman. Okay, you're level 1. I don't have a better name for it right now, so if you're offended, sorry, not sorry, but it gets the point across. You are a level 1 woman if you are just focused on looks. This is an internal game, not necessarily an external game. Pillar 3 is appreciation. Oh my God, if all women did this, we would be living in a much different world, right? So what is appreciation? Noticing and affirming the man, not just what he does or the result that he gets for you. Here's why it works. Men stay when they feel seen, successful, and appreciated, okay? Now, how do you embody this? You say, I love how intentional you are. I love that you planned the date. You're doing such a good job. Stuff like that. Like, men like to feel appreciated for their efforts because it's not always easy to be a man, okay? They're the ones who got to go out and work. They're the ones who got to go out and hunt, especially healthy masculine men who are providing and protecting. You think that's easy, right? I was looking when my husband and I just moved into this place, and he was like fixing stuff up and putting up solar panels and making sure everything is safe, and the security cameras and dealing with the contractors and all. It's hard. It's hard freaking work, right? And then on top of that, he's running businesses and managing money and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's hard sometimes. And what happens is that most women don't appreciate men for their efforts. And I'll give you another example. Some of you get upset when the man doesn't take you to the restaurant that you wanted him to take you to, so then you start controlling the situation rather than just appreciating him for having chosen the restaurant and planned everything to begin with. Because it was not done perfectly up to what you would consider to be perfect, then you do not appreciate him. You focus on the end result, not the actual effort. And then you're like, oh, but he didn't do the thing I wanted him to do. Well, he will. When you learn how to appreciate him, then he's going to do better next time. When you learn how to appreciate men, it's like they just start up leveling, up leveling, up leveling, up leveling. And again, it's that symbiotic relationship. And I would venture to say that appreciation is even a form of receiving. And he's going to want to do better the more that you appreciate him, because men are not really getting appreciation from anywhere these days. So this will really make you stand out as a woman. Pillar 4, playfulness, right? It's lightness, it's fun, it's unfiltered feminine joy. Why does this work? Because men are drawn to the woman who makes him feel alive. How do you embody this? You flirt, you tease, you dance, you let your playful inner girl come out, right? And again, those of you who are very stuck in your head energy, it's very difficult to get into that playful mood, right? So you want to learn how to balance it, because playful doesn't mean immature. It doesn't mean you start acting like a child. It just means that you are magnetic and you find joy in all the things around you. One thing that my husband finds very endearing about me, I could find joy or amusement in the tiniest little things, period. Pillar 5, right, and this one gets confusing for people, is mystery. So what is mystery? It means keeping parts of yourself sacred and revealed over time. A lot of y'all talk too damn much and you reveal too much too soon. And then the man has nothing to hold on to in terms of mystery, because mystery fuels masculine pursuit and that curiosity of like, oh, I wonder what she's up to. Oh, I wonder what she's doing. Oh, I saw this other side of her. Oh, she's not. That's what keeps him engaged. So again, it's almost the same as being too available. Like when you're too available, there's no mystery, and a man needs mystery in order to engage the pursuit and stay engaged. How do you embody this? Don't overshare on a first date. You want to let him discover you. One of my clients recently said that her grandma said this, and I was like, I totally get what your grandma was trying to say, and it was about mystery. Her grandmother told her once, oh honey, you got to save your secrets for after you're married. Right? What her grandmother was trying to say is like, don't talk so damn much, don't give so much away so soon, let there be a mystery, let there be a gap, don't be so available, because that is what helps men fall in love. So you want to avoid trauma dumping, over explaining, or always being available, like I said. So when you combine all of these things together, that's when you can stop chasing men and you can start receiving, because you're going to have them eating out of the palm of your hand. When you learn how to do these 5 things, they're going to become obsessed with you. Those of you who are married, right, start doing these 5 things and you're going to be begging for a night off if you start learning how to do these 5 things to the married ones, right? And you want to stop, when you do this, right, you move from trying to prove yourself to attracting, and it attracts very healthy masculine men. That's what these 5 pillars do, because I've seen women go from getting ghosted to getting engaged just from embodying these shifts. I went from getting ghosted to getting engaged by embodying these shifts. And it's not magic, right? Actually, there's a lot of science and biology behind this as well that I don't have time to get into. There's a lot of psychology behind it that I don't have time to get into either. If this resonated with you, hit the like button. Drop a comment below with the pillar that you're most excited to activate, because let me tell you something really interesting, and I go really deep into it in that feminine magnetism mastery. The cool thing about this is if you just work on one of these, it's going to help all the others as well. So part of what we do in that feminine magnetism mastery program is you're going to do an assessment on where you are on each of these 5 pillars, so you can start strengthening the one that's like weakest, to put it that way, but it benefits all the others. So if you work on one, you start improving all the others as well. And I go deeper into how that works in Feminine Magnetism Mastery, which you can get below for $27. Hit the like button, drop a comment, let me know which one you're going to be using, subscribe, and hit the bell so that you never miss a video that we have coming out on this channel. And I'm going to tell you what I tell all my students and all my coaching clients, which is you are already this, right? This is not meant to be an overwhelming thing. You were born with this. It's just a matter of uncovering all the stuff that got in the way of it. So if you're looking at this and you're being like, oh my God, how am I supposed to do that? You were born with it. It's just remembering how to do it. Thank you so much for giving me your time today, and I'll catch you on the next one.